Alright then, so back in garage. This is a continuation video from not the last one, but the video before. So I've still got the diff here on the bench again, and what it was is I'm going to try and get these original rubber bushes out of these diff ears so that I can replace them and put in the nice poly bushes that I bought for it, which were the yellow ones from... don't quote me on it, I can't remember. They're not the Powerflex ones, it's the other company, I can't remember the name now. I'll find out, but when I put them in, obviously I'll tell you then. So yeah, this is just basically how I'm going to go about getting them bushes out. So let's get to it. Basically, as you can see, you've got the main body of the ear here. This is the diff part, and the bush, you see this little metal flange, that is part of the bushing housing. So I need to get that off. So I can't really put like a cup over this end and draw the bush out, because there's nothing for a, like a, what do they call it, like the relief cup on the bearing pullers to draw it out into. Ideally, I would like to put it in the press and press them out, but I mean, I'm on my own. That thing must weigh 25-30 kilos, so I can't hold that and operate the press at the same time. So I'm going to try and do it the way in which I got the bushes out of the rear subframe, and actually the good old SDS drill, and give them a bit of a hammer in and see how they come out. So let's just get to one of them and see how we get on. So basically, as you can see, you can get your thumb on the edge of that. So if I can get my thumb on it, I can also get the SDS chisel on it. So I'm just going to get my tripod, and then I've got two hands to do this bit. So basically, just before I started with the tripod, I just thought I'd give it a go. So I've let it down, get the chisel end on that bit, and just give it a few braps. And as you can see, it is starting to break away. So I think I'm good to go with this. I'm just going to crack on. I'm not going to video this because it's noisy, so I'm just going to get on with it, and I'll show you the thing at the end. There we go, got one of them out. As you can see, it's a bit beaten and bruised because I've been using basically the impact driver there on the SDS drill. So I've got this one left to do. The best way in which I found to do it was, let me just check that. Yeah, it's hot, that. So I won't be picking that up just for a minute, not unless I can use a rag. Right, so as you can see, I ended up peening the ends, the sides over, so that flared edge just started attacking it, peeling it in, tried to squash the bush in as far as possible. I'm gonna have to put it down now because it's getting hot. And then what I did was got a pair of mole grips, as you can see, like that, and got hold of the central bushing and basically cooked the bush out the middle, took that out, and then went in with the SDS drill that I've got with just a flat end on it, and into the bearing, like the bush race, so to speak, from this side, and pushed it out. So that's how I did it, really. Not the easiest and a little bit out of breath. Took a lot of fighting, but we got there in the end. Like I said, a bit of heat always helps. So that lovely fresh paint job I did the other day, I'm going to have to give it a local touch up. So yeah, but we're getting there. So I'm going to get the other bush out now, and then we'll get them brand new bushes pressed in, and then this is pretty much ready for going back in the car. Right, this bush number 2, so like I said, just get my drill on the edge there like so, and just work my way around all of that edge until I've got a nice clear edge to be going at. I'll do that and then I'll show you. So as you can see, just been around all the edge, got in with the SDS there, just to create that gap, so you've got, then you can angle the tack to try and push the bearing out, if you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cook this little inner bush out, snap it out of the hole, and then we've got a clear run from the inside to push it out as well as. Straight forward, bang the blowtorch in the centre of that hole, and just keep going until you see the outside edge of this blister, and you're pretty much good to go. See it blister up in just a minute. So now I know you've got that hot enough, so that will disbond from the rubber on the inside. So you get your mole grips on there like so. Give it a twist and you can hear it cracking and creaking and breaking. And there you go. Can't do this one-handed, just give us one sec. And that's it. That's like in a race out, so to speak. And now what that leaves you inside there, not that it's easy to see, just let me get the torch, is it inside of the bushes. So then you can attack it from the inside also. Right, as you can see, I've been all the way around the edge now, and this little bit in the middle, I've put like a relief cut in it using the chisel end. So basically this end of the SGS into there, so as it cuts through, it allows that ring just to lose a bit of its like expansion inside of there, so it contracts ever so slightly. Not a shitload, but enough that you can basically get my flat end of this now into the bush race into there. And if you watch slowly, it is, I can't do it with one hand really, but it's working its way out. So I'm just going to get on with that and then I'll show you at the end. And there we go, we've got another one out. So it's now time for a little bit of touch up later on and some bushes. So I'll go dig the bushes out and then we know what we're working with. So the bushes I've got are these strong flex bushes. I've also got them over there for, basically these are the subframe ones. So these are going to be for the mounting points for the back of the diff here. So they go in the subframe that this mounts into. So for now I don't need to worry about those, but for these I'm going to get these out of the bag now and get them placed into there. So this face mounts into there like so, and you give it a bit of a squeeze and pull it in, and then I'm presuming that these bits will then sit on that side of the mounting face that these big washers bolt to there. So they're like so, and then when the bolt goes through, it's got a nice big washer to seating area for all of that lot to sit on. So yeah. But before I put these in fully, what I am going to do, I'm going to get the POR 15 out and just repaint around all these faces, stop the rust coming back. It saves me a job in the future of having to do them again. So I'm going to get on with that and then I'll get back to you. I'm not going to film me painting it again because there's just no point. You've seen me painting 1,000 times on TikTok channel. If you're new to my YouTube channel, head over to my TikTok one, supra.restore, and have a look at all the videos that I've done on there. So I'm not playing catch up from TikTok to YouTube because I don't have the time for doing all that video editing. So yeah, so I'm just going to get on with this now, get these painted, and then I'll show you at the end. Right, so that's them painted. I've not done the inside because they just don't need doing on the inside because they'll be weather sealed with the bushes and the silicone sealant that it comes with. Silicone grease, I should say. The next thing to do after the diff is the drive shafts, because they're currently a bit, not rusty as such, but if you know me, I like things clean, so I'm going to get them cleaned up and get them painted, and then when it all goes in, it all looks nice and neat underneath. But up to now, that's about all I can do for the time being until that paint is dry. Right, so today is day 2. Obviously I ran out of time yesterday, so I'm back on it now. And as you can tell, it's absolutely freezing in this garage. I don't know what's happened overnight, but the temperature seems to have dropped by about 10-15 degrees. It's mental. But anyway, yes, where I left off was painting around the ears of the differential. So if you remember these bits, So now it's just a case of getting these bushes squeezed into the position that they want to be in, the sleeves in the middle of those said bushes, and the bottom of the bush onto that part there. Then I'm just going to hold it all together with a little bolt just so things don't get lost. So let's get to it. Right, so first things first, obviously you've got your bush that's going in and into there. So what you want to do is get the grease that is supplied. What I do is, instead of peeling the whole packet off, just peel a corner like so. Tough packet that, and just roll it up front bottom. And then what you end up getting is, when it starts to come through, is a nice jet of the grease coming out like that, instead of it just splurging out the end. And then what you can do, alt pack it and squeeze it out in a nice bead all the way around like that. And once you've got that bead, just give it a wipe round with your finger. Hence the gloves, because if you get this stuff on your skin, it just acts like a film. And because it's grease, it's water resistant and it's an absolute pain in the arse to wash off. Talking from experience. Other thing, I also like to just put a little bit on my finger and just give that a smear around the inside of where your bush is going to be seated, like so. So that's that done. Pick this up now without smearing it everywhere, and I just give that a little bit of a smear on, simple as that, and then put that in there, and it should just squeeze in. These bushes, they're not super duper tight to get in. There you go, that's one seated. The only bits that are quite tricky are getting these into there sometimes, but not always. So again, get some grease on it, like that. Smear it on, and then literally bit it all. Get a bit more on my finger, there we go. Ooh la la. Now it's get that in there like that, and then squeeze it in and push it all the way down, which I can't do at the minute because I need to grip it and I'm covered in assembly grease. So what I might do is just use the glove off, wooden end of an hammer, hold underneath to support it, and just tap it in like so. If you use the metal end of your hammer, you'll end up damaging that bush face. So there you go, that is one bush installed, minus this bit. So I'll put some grease on that finger. Touch that packet now, I can feel it. And then just put a bit of a smear all the way around there. What this grease helps to do as well is helps all these bushes stop squeaking. So when they're installed on car, they don't squeak to death. So that's that done. That goes underneath into there, like so. Job done. And that is it. So what I'm going to do now is washers on bottom, feed a bit of wire through there, and then just give it a twist and hold it together. So just so stuff don't get lost, it's all kept together. So now it's just a case of moving that off the tripod, doing the other one, doing the exact same thing, and then putting all of this to one side so I can get on with something else. Right, so the next part of the jigsaw puzzle is these drive shafts. Now these look a bit rusty, so I'm just going to give them a quick cleaning up, give them a bit of paint, and then we are good to go with these. I'm not going to fuss around too much regarding the ends that all bolt up and covered in grease, because they're just going to get covered in grease and dirt again anyway. but just for installing these sort of things back in the car. If they're nice and clean, when they're going back on, you just feel better about yourself, don't you? So yeah, so let's just get on with that, shall we? So I'm just going to go around with wire brush again, just knock off all the loose stuff. There's not a lot to be going at it really. And then give it a layer of paint. There's a few big bits of stuff coming off there. Nothing too major, but yeah, we'll get on with that. I might get the whizzy wheel out, wire wheel on drill, and give them a better going over than that. And then we'll get some paint on them. Right, so that's all the big hard crusty stuff knocked off. I'll give it a good degreasing, as you can see with the dirty rag there. These ends not bothered about, but this end I'm going to paint these up, and obviously that end too, and then we'll get going. Right, so that's them drive shafts all painted up. Just going to leave them there to dry for a minute. The next thing, excuse me, I've just been sneezing, so I'm all choked up. So yes, next thing to do is the viscous fan for the radiator. So as you can see in there, it's all rather a bit crusty and minging. So what I'm going to do, take the fan off the, basically off the pulley side, so I can get to that and give that a good cleaning up. And then this is also going to be getting a clean up, because I stupidly, when I was younger, I sprayed it silver. So I don't know why I did it, but I thought it'd look cool. But now all the silver's coming off and it just looks absolutely terrible. So let's get this cleaned up and we'll go from there. God, they're crusty. Oh, got fucking snap something there. Hang on. So I can't find a little adapter for that, for my impact. I don't know where it's gone for getting sockets on it. I can't find it. I'll have to order a new one. So I've got to go for a big boy, haven't I? But it should do it without too much pressure on these. I'm trying to do it gently. There we go. Easy. There we go. Doesn't like using it for little stuff, but it's done it for what I need there. So now, set that off there, that on there, and then we can set these out. Your street again. Since you've been and there we go. Keep all of those together and they don't get lost. Back on. Yeah. Right, so as you can see, it's rather crusty inside there. So I'm going to go fire up, look at the state of all grit and grime in that. So I'm going to go fire up parts washer outside, get it warm, and then we'll stick all this lot through it and go from there. Right, so outside again, it's not quite warm, but it'll do for what I need for now. Give all this a good washing out. Alright, so that's the pulley part of the fan, all nice and cleaned up. That's come up a lot nicer. The fan, although it is a lot cleaner, I've still got all this excess paint which won't come off. So at least that's fully bit into the plastic. So what I've got now, some acid etch. I'm going to give it a good priming, and then I'm going to have to just top coat it again and see how it comes out. If it doesn't work, then we can always go for electric fans, can't we? More bloody money. Anyway, I'm going to get that done and I'll show you in a tick, sorry. And there we go, so that's the acid etch put on there, so I'll let that flash off and dry, and then I'll get on there with some black top coat. So I'm going to do it black because the rad shroud that is, well, it sits inside is like a dark gunmetal grey. So I think they should look pretty good together. So once I've got that done, that's pretty much me done for the day. So let that dry for a minute and then we'll crack on with top coat. Right, so that's the black on. I don't know why my lens is dirty, but it seems to be getting a glare. There we go, it's better. Yeah, so that's the black on there. All that's left to do now is get a bit of lacquer on it, but I'm not going to bore you with that because it's only paint. So I'm going to leave it there for today. But yeah, hopefully the next video I will have something a little bit more exciting for you than just painting a few odds and sods, you know what I mean? So yeah, it should be clutch time, hopefully. So, yes. Anyway, if anyone's got a better option than using the GoPro for doing this sort of videoing, please hit me up because I'm getting sick to death of batteries and fannying about with stuff like that. It's really irritating me. So anyway, yeah, let me know in comments what filming equipment people use to get better content creation, I should say. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you.